staples is what we are talking about today. Yeah.
Staples.
That is, no, oh my gosh.
I was looking
You
for
thought
it.
you were so slick on that one, right?
I thought it
no. I guess it works with your shirt aesthetic, right?
But
yeah, so we're gonna the focus is gonna be on ingredients / pantry staples.
Yep.
So some items that we recommend always having on hand, and we basically always have them.
Absolutely. And
if we don't, we're
so
like, well, we got to restock.
They're so worth having on hand because it just makes it so much easier when you're either in a pinch or if you're just trying to plan something for your meals.
Yeah, I was going to say that kind of leads us into why are staple ingredients important?
Well, like I said, it's really important to be able to have them just because they can help complete a meal. So they can actually help give you the essential nutrients or the essential items that you would need to actually fully round out your meal that you're making. Or it could just be a meal itself if you're looking for something quick.
Yeah, they can be a total meal.
Yeah.
Which is really great. But also kind of going off of what you said, it can complete the meal in the sense of, like you were talking about, nutrients, flavor.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a big one. I didn't even think about flavor.
Like getting everything to meld together.
Yeah.
A great ingredient to that, which we'll get more into, is something like tomato paste.
Yes.
Goes in a lot of things, and it really helps with the flavor profile.
Absolutely.
And getting everything to meld together. And add a bit of richness, brightness kind of thing.
I was also going to say it could also help with the consistency of if you're using it for sauces or even soups. But again, we can get more into that later.
But so the important part of staples is that you're not just able to make a meal from them, but they go in lots of things. Yeah,
so they're going to be there, and they're going to be so multi-diverse in what you're going to be using them for.
Yeah.
A good example, like you said, was tomato paste. It gets put in so many different things. It'd be hard to name off everything because it can be used in just so many different recipes.
Yeah. So your staples are going to be things that are also super versatile.
Absolutely.
And like we said, utilized in a number of different dishes.
Right.
Yeah. So the other thing that is important to think about is, how do you identify which ones would be essential for you? Because we have our top 10, right? And a good amount of those are probably going to be useful for everyone.
Absolutely.
But not all of them necessarily. Correct. Because you might have certain ones that you're like, nope, do not need that one. But you kind of have to figure out for yourself, how would I know that this is useful?
Correct.
Well, the way you would know is, do you use it a lot?
Is it something that's going to be really noticed if it's not in your cooking? If it's not in your repertoire to use with your ingredients that you would just purchase from the store.
Yeah.
If it's something like that, that's an essential for you.
And also, this list might also help you with, like, if you're always feeling like your recipes or things aren't complete, or you're feeling like you're missing things and stuff like that, this could definitely help you in seeing, if I add in these staple items that will help build around my meals.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very much a support system.
Right.
So
I think those are really good points on how to ID it and why they're important. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into
our top 10?
Our top 10.
So, number 1, rice or grains.
Yes, these are hugely important, especially for us.
Not only are they versatile, and there's like so many to pick from just in rice, right? There's so many different types of rice, but they're also very budget friendly.
They really are. You can get a very large amount for, realistically, looking at the price, you would think, wow, that's a steal.
Yeah. Now, rice is definitely one of our big tops in this category Another that we usually tend to always have on hand is also quinoa, because it is not just a grain, things like it's also a complete protein.
Yeah. And quinoa in itself is just so, like, again, what we say, that it's super versatile, and it can be used in so many different ingredients in so many different ways.
Yeah.
But
you add to it to create the flavor profile, and then it's the star green in the sense of it's your base, and then you add all the things to it. So like we'll make quinoa bowls and things like that, and it's really delicious.
Those are I would say those are definitely some of our favorite meals too sometimes, just because they can be really quick and easy to make, and once you mix everything in, I mean, it's just fantastic.
Yeah. Some other like there's rice, there's like wild rice, basmati,
jasmine,
long grain, jasmine, brown rice. So many choices to pick from.
Right. Because you also have like arborio. I mean, literally the list is so long, and it can be. I mean, we've used it in so many different ways. Not only just from seasoning the rice while it cooks, to making different things like pilafs, or even making fried rice, or just making a plain white rice to go with a nice, complexly seasoned dish.
Yeah.
Or something that's really rich in flavor.
Yep. So, number 2 is canned beans.
Yes. Now, these are really, really helpful because
it's very convenient.
It's super convenient. And the fact that we say canned beans over dry beans is, again, a really convenient point. You can just open up the can and you can start cooking it, and you can put it into whatever you're making away.
And it's not only convenient, but it's also a good source of protein.
Yes.
And fun fact is that rice and beans together make a complete protein.
They do.
So if you're someone who's in a very tight budget space, rice and beans are a great choice.
Right. And I feel like this also lends
like,
to heritage.
That made me think of the ridiculous commercial about cereal recently.
Yeah, that was
where they're telling you to make it your meal, and you're like,
make it your dinner, give chicken the night off.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, that was,
at least do rice and beans. That's gonna keep you fuller.
It will. And again,
and you can do so much to make it taste great. And
I was gonna say, this also lends from heritage. My family, with being Colombian, we grew up having rice and beans so often. You can do so much to really give it such a depth of flavor.
And you can use so many staple ingredients to beef up the beans.
Exactly.
And the rice to make it super flavorful.
Exactly.
So
tomorrow we go into our next one. I don't know. My brain.
It sounded like you said tomorrow. I was like, tomorrow.
My brain was not processing the words.
My brain was like, what is tomorrow?
Our next one on the list would be number 3, and those would be canned tomatoes. Now, for us, we usually try to get like no salt added tomato products.
We kind of get a variety of different. Yeah. We are always going to have different. So not only is this, like we said, it goes in lots of things. It's a pantry powerhouse because it can go in sauces, it can go in soups, it can go in stews.
Absolutely.
You could add it as an ingredient to your pastas. Like if you're wanting to do a lighter pasta toss, you could add stewed tomatoes to it. You could add diced tomatoes to it to just add a little bit of freshness. Of course, like we would recommend sauteing those, things like that. Yes, because there are people who are going to say canned tomatoes, they taste like it's canned, and you're like, okay, but if you cook the tomatoes and you add flavor to it, they don't taste like that.
I was also going to say, like, in conjunction with what you're saying, that they're a powerhouse in the pantry. It's one of the great things is you can add it even into your beans.
Yes.
You can add it into your canned beans and then couple it with your rice.
Yeah.
And now you get even more flavor, and it's all just really budget friendly.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it.
And the ones that we will basically always have on hand, always.
Yeah.
Tomato paste.
Absolutely.
Tomato sauce.
Yep.
Crushed and diced.
Yeah. Because you can make anything with those.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like we were saying at the beginning, your tomato paste is going to be such a big player in the sense of being able to help thicken things as well as adding a huge depth of flavor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, canned tomatoes, great. If you don't pick any of the things on this list, but you pick that one,
great choice.
Great choice. Also, I would recommend you pick the next one that we're going to talk about, which is oils.
Yes.
We really like olive oil.
Yep.
Now, there are so many different types of oils you can pick from. The things that I will say about them is note their heat point, right? Yeah. So, something like extra virgin olive oil. It's funny because this leads to a video that I saw where someone was talking about olive oil and then got this whole thing about you shouldn't be, they were basically saying you shouldn't be cooking and stuff like that. They're talking about extra virgin olive oil because extra virgin olive oil has a lower smoking point. Yeah. So you want to think about those. Those are good finishing oils, things like that.
Or good oils for dressings if you're making salad dressing.
Sesame oils, truffle oil. Those are
finishing oils.
Mm-hmm, they're not going to be things that you're wanting to super cook in because they don't have that smoking point.
Right. Well, also the depth of flavor will end up getting cooked out of it. Yeah. So if you're going to be using truffle oil in something trying to cook with it, the truffle flavor's going to be cooked away.
Yeah. But also, a little bit goes a long way with those.
Yeah, you really don't need a lot. Very much is true with sesame oil.
I remember
you don't need a lot.
I remember when we worked at because we worked at Cinderella's Royal Table. For anyone who didn't know at Magic Kingdom, right?
That's actually where we met.
That is where we met. But someone broke a bottle of truffle oil in one of the storage closets. Oh man, that was not fun.
No,
not fun.
I think you could smell it.
Oh, you could
all the way up to the kitchen.
It was in this like a stairwell, so it was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. That's why I say little bit goes a long way. Don't break your bottle in your house because your whole house will smell like truffle oil.
For sure.
Yeah, but oils are great, obviously for cooking, but also they add like a depth of richness and as they also add depth to your meals.
Right.
And there are certain vitamins and things like that they're fat soluble, so they need
to be accompanied with some sort of fat, be it oil, be it butter. The fat will help bring the nutrients into your body as well as it will help your body be able to absorb those nutrients.
But they're super necessary. Oils are a great thing to have. They're not only for cooking, they're for sauces.
Absolutely.
They are for vinaigrettes.
Yep. Salad dressings, really.
Yes. Well,
of all kinds.
Yes. But it's great to have on hand. And it's great to have a few different unless you're
trying to experiment.
Yes. For us, we have
a couple
number of different ones.
And we've had different ones through the years as well that we've experimented with.
Yeah, because we have truffle, we have sesame, avocado, olive oil.
I believe at one point we had a lavender oil, or was it? No, the
we still do have. It's a lavender.
It's a lavender olive oil. And then we had a champagne pear balsamic vinegar, which is fantastic.
Yes. But so oils are definitely one that, again, I would say all of these.
Yeah.
These top 10, utilize them because they're going to make your cooking easier.
Well, and I would say that having these top 10 items in your pantry just having them in your kitchen makes it that much easier to be able to plan ahead with meals, because then you know, okay, well, I have a side. Okay, well, I can make a sauce.
Yes.
Oh, I can do this with that.
Yeah.
And it really just lends to the fact that now your meal planning is becoming a far easier task because you know what you have in your pantry.
Well, and you have a stocked pantry.
Yeah, exactly.
And the upside to these items is that they're not going to go bad.
No.
For weeks.
Right. And some of them can even last years. Exactly. Some of them really have such a long shelf life that you could buy it, almost forget it, and look at it in a while, and then say, oh, hey, wait, this is actually still good.
Yeah.
I can still use this. So thinking about that with things that have longer shelf lives, why don't we go into the next item?
Spices.
Which these are going to be super helpful just to be able to give you that additional flavor depth and flavor profile in your meals of what you may be looking for.
And there's so many.
And it almost feels like there's too many out there, because there's also so many different rubs, combinations that are already pre-made.
And we really love to make our own rubs.
Right, we absolutely do.
But
and that's not to
there's
say
so
that
many
you
options.
can't.
No, yeah, there's so many options for you.
Yeah.
And that's where spices are having a well-stocked spice cabinet is very helpful, because then it gets less. So you might have a recipe right? But having a well-stocked spice cabinet helps avoid that, because you can easily switch out flavorings.
Right. And I would say, within thinking of having a well-stocked spice cabinet, really think about the flavors that you would normally gravitate toward. So some of our big flavors that we go for, and this is something that I'm just going to go off the top of my head with it, that I normally gravitate toward when I'm cooking, is going to be salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, smoked paprika, and then maybe Italian seasoning.
For like our everyday...
Or like Italian herbs.
Everyday blends.
Exactly. And that's just like our inherent immediate, like, oh, okay, this is a great flavor profile and combination.
I was like,
we can go through with that.
If I remember, everything that you said, that goes in our breakfast potatoes.
They do. And it's not only just our breakfast potatoes, you can use it to make quiches. And with that, you can even pull out the paprika and just have salt, pepper, garlic, onion, and Italian. And now you have an Italian herbed quiche.
Interesting. Yes.
And it's simpler things, because once you have the basis of the items or seasonings that you would normally go gravitate toward, you have the stepping stones and the building blocks to be able to say, oh, hey, I do want to try out a different chili powder or a different kind of pepper powder.
You could even take out the smoked paprika, throw in cumin and coriander.
Exactly. And now you have a little bit more of a barbecue.
Well, I was not good.
No, not barbecue.
Did you say barbecue?
Yeah,
I was like chili powder. Yeah, no. Yeah. Like you toss in some brown sugar, toss some chili flakes. There's so many things you can do.
The possibilities are really endless with spices.
And I was like, yeah. So if you're like spice rub, that'd be really cool to have some recipes on. Let us know in the comments that you want us to make some spice rub recipes, and we will do that.
No,
because we always love just making new stuff for you guys.
We absolutely do. Plus, it helps us really kind of expand ourselves into the cooking and more of that learning profile. Because then we get to experiment with it, and if it doesn't taste good, we won't give it to you guys. You guys don't have to worry about making the bad experiments. That's what we're for.
That's where we get to experiment on ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
But yeah, so make sure that you have well-stocked spices. And while they don't go bad very quickly, check your pantry to make sure that you get rid of the things that expired years ago.
Yeah.
Ironically, like when I was in culinary school, that was like I for some reason loved checking out people's pantries to see like how old they
You're like, I want to see how long you've had these spices.
Oh man, it was funny.
Or just anything in your pantry at this point.
It's goes into the abyss, right?
Oh yeah.
So next one.
I feel like sometimes that's what a pantry looks like. It's the abyss. When you open it, you're like, I don't even know what's in here anymore.
Yeah. Next one is they're fresher items, but they don't go. They last a decently long time.
They are hardy,
and they are very versatile. Like they get used in so much.
Versatility. Yeah.
So these are things like onions, garlic, and potatoes.
Yes.
Which we have a bowl that stays right near our like coffee station in our kitchen, and it always has onions and garlic.
Yes.
Most of the time it has potatoes, but always onions and garlic.
And
we just restocked them.
And I was going to say, one of the big reasons why we put it in a bowl and leave it out on the counter, they're shelf stable. They can sit out, and they're fine to sit out. They're not going to cause any really big issues with sitting out unless there's something that is spoiled within the batch.
Yeah, it's like unless they're already wrong. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the other reason is because it's in front of our face, so we see it, meaning we're more likely to use it and also think about making things with it before they go bad.
Yeah.
So those are like really big reasons why we have it out in a bowl. But it's also just really convenient to be able to say, oh, okay, well, I need, I need an onion, I need some garlic cloves, and potatoes to make my dinner. Oh, they're right here all together.
Yes. And onions and garlic can basically go in anything. Anything and everything. Unless you're someone who really doesn't like it.
Or if you have a sensitivity or an allergy towards these items. And again, this would be any practical advice. If you have a sensitivity or allergy toward anything that we've already gone over,
don't get it.
Just don't get it.
Yeah, I was like, if you're allergic,
be aware.
You know you're allergic.
Yeah, I was like, be aware of what your body already knows you can have.
Yeah.
And just kind of take what we're saying in conjunction with that.
But sautés, stir fries, soups,
roasts,
sauces,
you can literally throw it in the oven, roast it all.
Side dishes, any like salads, salad dressings, so many things.
And it's like you just said, in all those items, it's so versatile because all three of those items can literally go in everything right there.
Yeah, potato can be its own side. You could do baked potatoes, make it basically its own dish. There's so many different potatoes to try out. I know that potatoes sometimes get a bad rep, but potatoes also have really good nutrients in them as well as garlic and onions are really good for you too.
Because you could even sub out or substitute any of the generic white potatoes or yellow potatoes that you would normally get with these, and do it with a sweet potato. Do it with a purple sweet potato.
Yeah, so sweet potatoes would also fit into this
whole realm. Yeah,
because they're
hardy. They'll last a while. They don't last forever though.
Well, of course, yeah. Nothing lasts forever.
Correct.
So, next is stock/broth.
Now, this one we tend to make our own.
Yeah. So this is one that we generally keep in our freezer.
Yes.
Because we will make like a huge batch of vegetable stock or chicken or beef stock, and then we will have it in our freezer so that when we're needing it, we easily just grab it out.
Absolutely.
But you can always buy stock and broth if that is the easier route, which I mean it is an easier route.
And if that's just your preference to just go ahead and purchase it, that's fine. Like, no shame.
But these are great
do whatever you want.
For if you're making soups,
sauces.
If you're making sauces.
You can just put it in to kind of give it a little bit more complex flavor, give it a little boost in the sense of the profile that you're going for, like, or if you're really wanting to give a little bit more liquid to it.
I was like, they even have like condensed versions where it's like a paste, or they have the bouillon cubes and things like that. So there's so many options for this as well. Yeah. Number 8 is pasta.
Yes. Now, we always keep a few different varieties of pasta in our pantry. Some of the, I guess, more common ones that we'll have.
You're just talking about shapes?
Yeah.
We just get different shaped pastas.
I was like, penne.
There's so many shapes. But also, if you're gluten-free, the upside to being gluten-free now there's
so
so many options.
available.
There's lentil pasta, there's chickpea pasta, there's quinoa pasta, there's rice pasta, there's
black bean pasta.
There's so many different ones.
And it's so easy to be able to get those pastas. And we've had them. We've tried the vast majority of them. They're all really good.
Now, back in the day, no. Now, there's so many more options, and they're good.
Yeah, and it just makes it that much easier to be able to say, okay, well, even for a quick night, if you're going to make yourself a pasta with a red sauce because you have your tomato products in your pantry, then you have everything right there. Mm-hmm. And then the only thing you may want would be, let's say, a protein, a chicken, or a fish that you want to put on top or something.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about all of these. You could just easily add a protein and maybe a few vegetables in it.
Meal,
yeah. So pastas, all kinds of variety to play around with.
Absolutely.
If you haven't tried a different shaped pasta, try one out.
Please try one out. They're so worth it.
It's just fun to have different.
They really are.
Pastas. So next, I also was gonna say with pastas, because there's also like different, because Asian pastas are like soba, stir fry noodles, like.
Good catch.
Right,
like brain eating.
There's so many ramen,
exactly.
So many different things. Lo mein.
Mm-hmm. And all of them are delicious.
Yeah. They're all worth trying.
Because they also have different types of like rice pastas.
If you're going into like that realm, read the way to cook them. Because not all of them are going to
be the same way that
be a normal process of everyday pasta.
Right.
But they're great.
Exactly.
Next is vinegars or / condiments. Because these help create complete dishes and add flavors, kind of add a little bit more.
Yeah.
So these are things like soy sauce.
Yeah, soy sauce is fantastic.
If you're gluten-free, tamari, right? Or coconut aminos.
Yeah.
Right? Or this one's really good, and when we do vinaigrettes, we basically put this in most of the time, is Dijon mustard.
Yes. And it's a great use of it for emulsification to be able to make your vinaigrette, so it all combines, plus you get a little bit of that extra Dijon mustardy flavor.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be overbearing or overpowering, because you can just add in as much as you feel confident with.
And there's so many different vinegars that you can try out, and it's worth having a few different ones. They can be used for, of course, making vinaigrettes or salad dressings, things like that. They can also get used in sauces. They can help with marinades.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's
just
so much.
And again, it all comes down to versatility. There's so much versatility in all of these specific ingredients that we're listing off.
Yeah.
That they can be used to make virtually anything.
Yeah, and it's cool because you can also get infused vinegars or oils, but you also can make your own, which is also cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for vinegars, like, we always have a number of different ones on hand, like red wine, white wine, balsamic, rice vinegar.
We have white distilled.
That one's good for cleaning as well.
That's a really good one for cleaning.
Yeah. I had one in my brain, and it was apple cider.
Yeah, that's another big one we have, yeah.
So, and depending on what type of flavor we're going with is how we will use it.
Yeah.
But there's so much for that. And we're on our final one.
What?
Which is, you talked about it a little bit with beans, but it's dried beans. Because these are also... And lentils.
Yes,
dried beans and lentils. And it could also be like split peas, too.
Right. And well, the great thing about dried beans, lentils, and split peas, just these drier components, is they can last so long. They're not as, I guess, susceptible to spoiling as what your canned product might be. But the only difference is that you do have to prepare them in advance to what you're planning on doing with them.
Yeah, depending on the type of bean and things like that, you're going to need to soak them.
Exactly.
Or
and there's a couple options
you
to
can
do that.
Soak them overnight. You can hot soak.
Yeah.
Which is That's when for us it's like, oops, I forgot to start this. Let me hot soak that really quick and then
like,
drain and then so that's the oops. But all of these are super helpful items, and we recommend having all of them and figuring out. So like even if you're stocking all of these, right, and then you figure out through that which ones are going to be your top go-to.
Yeah, and the thing is like once you figure out what those immediate like top go-to items are for you, it's going to make your meal planning so much easier. It's going to make it less of a headache, really, and it's going to really just streamline it.
It'll make sure that you always have the things that you need on hand.
Exactly.
At least in the supportive roles.
For sure.
So like this is a good thing for you to have at all times, because if you've got your proteins and your vegetables and stuff that's going to spoil faster, you always are going to have what needs to help create that dish.
Exactly. And that's why we highly recommend you to figure out exactly what it is that is so essential for your kitchen. And again, we can just really quickly go.
Well, I was also going to say, if this is something that you're like, oh, this is great, I want a bit more on, we are also working on a staples guide for all of you, where we are also going to be sharing some more on like quick step recipes, because that's where we have a number of items that we utilize for quick step recipes when we're like, I just need something really quick and I need it to be complete, and I have all these staple items. So if you are interested in that, put staples in the comment staples, if I can talk correctly, right? And we will make sure to get that sent over.
For sure.
Or share it on here when it's ready to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
real quick,
we can quickly run through them.
Yep.
So number 1, rice or grains. And rice and grains, right?
Absolutely.
Number 2, canned beans.
Number 3, canned tomato products.
Number 4, oils.
Number 5 is going to be your spices.
Number 6 is onions, garlics, potatoes.
Number 7, you're looking at stocks and or broth, depending on what you want specifically.
Next is pasta.
And then you have vinegar and condiments. So vinegars and condiments.
Yep. And then finally, dried beans.
So we hope that you guys got some great information, some great value from us being here and giving you our tips and our top 10 ingredients that we keep on hand always. And
we hope you guys
I was going to say, we can't wait to see you guys go ahead and comment some of your wins for this week, as well as look forward to seeing who wants the guides.
Yeah. Or spice rubs.
Yes.
Or both, right?
Why not?
But we hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you guys next week.